and welcome to another edition of Marquette in Motion. We're your hosts, Morgan Minster
and Amber Krieg. On today's show, we'll be sharing the results of the most recent speech competition, reporting on how Marquette is implementing win time in the elementary and junior high, answering your questions in You Ask, We Answer,
and as always, updating you on Marquette sports and events. But first, Brooklyn Moore is here to tell us which senior she'll be interviewing this week.
This week's senior is Morgan Minster.
Well, Morgan, it looks like we'll be seeing you later on in the show. But before we get to all of that, it's time for our weekly graduation countdown. So, Morgan, how many days are left until graduation?
There are 85 days until graduation.
Less than 3 months to go, but now on to business. Today, 7th grader Holly Beecham is competing in the regional spelling bee at Clark University, and we all wish her the best of luck.
But now it's time for our listeners to pull out a pencil and paper because it's your turn to be tested. We've got a few questions for you, and we'll be sharing the answers later on in the show.
Because Holly is at the spelling bee, we'll start with the spelling question. So we're asking you, our listeners, how do you spell the word camaraderie?
Now, a history question. Right now, the junior class is learning about the Civil War. So, audience, where was the first battle of the Civil War fought?
I know I'll have to think about that one, so let's go into a science question for now. In biology 2, seniors and juniors are learning about the heart. So, what is the largest artery in the heart?
I'm actually in that class, so I know the answer. But don't worry, I won't spoil it for you. Let's have an English question next. In strategic reading, high school students have to read at least one classic book this semester. So, who is the author of one of my favorite novels, Pride and Prejudice?
And now we'll move on to everyone's favorite subject, math. In geometry, students learn about the properties of various shapes. So, how many degrees are in every triangle?
And now a government question. In the first semester, seniors learned about the various roles some of our government officials play. So, who is our current Speaker of the House, and what does he do?
And for our final question, it's for you, Morgan. Which Marquette in Motion segment is up next?
Oh, I know this one. It's jam time.
Thanks, Morgan. Today we'll be speaking about speech.
We'll be telling you the results from the high school individual district speech contest that took place last Saturday at Clinton High School.
Speech coach Mrs. Carol Feller was proud to bring 13 students to the competition.
These 13 students took 19 events and were happy to report that 15 of the events are moving on.
The students who took one event that are moving on to state competition are Amanda Coos in storytelling, Ashley Coos in prose, Alyssa Kramer in poetry, Macy Kramer in prose, and Anna Schmidt in poetry.
The students who took 2 events that are both moving on to state are Lauren Kilberg in solo musical theater and prose, Christina Coos in solo musical theater and storytelling,
Amber Krieg in after-dinner speaking and acting, Morgan Minster in literary program and after-dinner speaking, and Erica Timmerman in solo musical theater and storytelling.
The following students received 2s and will not be competing next week. Amanda Coos in prose, Brooklyn Moore also in prose, Sunny North in acting, and Marissa Schrader in acting.
Thanks to all our Marquette speech students for representing us so well.
The next individual high school speech contest, which is state speech, will be held on next Saturday, March 12th, at North Scott High School in Eldridge, Iowa.
Well, good luck to you all, and we hope you do your best and hopefully come back with ones.
For Marquette in Motion, this has been
Jam Time!
With Justina Denlinger,
Allison Hager,
Megan Litter,
And Mackenzie Kilberg.
Stay tuned. Marquette in Motion will be back after these messages.
We're back with Marquette in Motion. Christina Coos is here with a report on Marquette's WIN program.
For the last 3 years, Marquette elementary students have been taking part in a program called WIN Time. WIN stands for What I Need. Each student in grades K through 5 is placed in a group based on his or her reading or math scores, MAP tests, FAST scores, or other teacher-collected data. Though each group is comprised of students from various grades, all the students in a particular group have similar needs. The program is also arranged so that each student spends WIN time with a teacher other than his or her classroom teacher. These groups are led by the following teachers: Mrs. Kilberg, Miss Kiefer, Mrs. Rubel, Mrs. Meninger, Mrs. Utman, Miss Walter, Mrs. Utman's student teacher, and Mr. Peterson. This session, WIN time, is occurring each Wednesday and Thursday, days when there is not a Mass or prayer service, and lasts approximately 25 minutes. Each separate WIN session spans 3 or 4 weeks and alternates throughout the school year between reading and math. Currently, the focus of elementary WIN time is foundational reading skills. This year, junior high students are also getting in on the fun of Win Time. During an afternoon class, the middle school is divided into 4 sections. Each section will meet with one teacher at a time between now and the end of the school year. The students are learning many new things. During Mrs. Doherty's Win Time, she is working on practical life skills such as how to tie a necktie, how to write a check, how to write a gracious thank you letter, and how to properly address an envelope to be mailed. Mr. Meaninger is teaching students about computer programming and coding, Mr. Knoll is teaching them how to Photoshop, and Mr. Erickson is teaching strategic games such as backgammon and chess. The teachers hope that the students will grow and be able to utilize all of the skills they learn in the future. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Christina Coos.
Thanks for utilizing that report to inform us on the WIN program, Christina. Now it's time for another winning program. You ask, we answer with Lauren Kilberg. Here she is now. The first question submitted today says, could I get a sneak peek of some auction items for the Magic of Children?
Marquette's biggest fundraiser, the Magic of Children, will take place this year on April 2nd. Now, some exciting items that will be up for auction include, of course, our senior class quilt, a prayer rug that was given to the class of 2016 from Father Paul Lipstock while he was stationed with Operation Iraqi Freedom, and a kitchen set crafted by my grandpa and local listener, Jack Tebby. These are just among other items, so be sure to come check them out on April 2nd.
The next question today comes from a junior high parent. She writes, my student is going to be in high school next year and will sometimes have practices later in the afternoon, but not right after school. Is it okay for my child to stay in school until practice, or do all students need to leave school by a certain time?
One of the best aspects of Marquette is the after-school program that it has in place for the high school students. On any given afternoon, students can be found working with their teachers, printing a paper in the lab, or working on homework in the media center. As long as a teacher is in the building to supervise the students, they are permitted to be in the building. To the fortune of our students, many of our teachers are in the building until late at night, giving students ample time to complete their work and get the help they need while waiting for a later practice.
Our final question today comes from our very own Sam Peters. Sam?
I was just wondering, how do you solve a problem like Maria?
Well, Sam, thank you for that question. You and the rest of our audience will have to come to the MEC on April 7th, 8th, and 9th at 7 p.m. to find out. Now I have a question for all of you. How do you find an answer to your questions? Well, I don't think this will come as a shock to anyone. Email them to me at marquetteinmotion@marquettecatholic.com. We'll be doing the research and finding those answers for you. Thanks so much for listening. This has been Lauren Kilberg. Marquette in Motion will return in a moment.
We're back with Marquette in Motion. Sam Peters and Jonathan Herrig are here with your Marquette Sports and Updates report.
Thanks, Morgan. Parent-teacher conferences are coming up very soon, being held Wednesday the 9th and Thursday the 10th from 3:30 to 6:15, as well as 7 o'clock to 8:45. Don't forget that when you come to check out the Junior High Science Fair in the MEC lobby. There will also be no school Friday for teachers or students. There's still 15 days to spring, but Marquette's spring track season has already started, and our boys' first meet is the Tri-Rivers Indoor Conference meet on the 18th of March at Cornell College.
Thanks, Sam. Not only is the track season approaching, but also Marquette's golf and soccer teams are going to begin their practices to start off their seasons very soon. Also, Marquette's Magic of Children is less than a month away on Saturday, April 2nd in Horizon Hall.
For Marquette in Motion, this has been Sam Peters
and Jonathan Herrig
with your Marquette Sports and Updates report.
Thanks, boys. Now on over to Brooklyn Moore for an interview with my co-host.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brooklyn Moore, and this week I'll be interviewing one of Marquette in Motion's very own host, Morgan Minster. Not only is Morgan our fine host, but she's also one of Marquette's involved seniors. So, Morgan, what activities have you been involved in so far this year?
Well, so far this year, I've been doing cheerleading, which just ended. I was in the fall play, and I've done speech and quiz bowl.
So you've definitely been keeping busy. What activities do you have to look forward to this spring?
For me this spring, it's just finishing up the speech season and doing the spring musical.
Can you tell us who your character is?
Sure, I play Liesel Von Trapp, who is the oldest Von Trapp child.
Oh, so you get to sing the song I Am 16 Going on 17?
Yes, I do.
Want to give us a little preview, or?
Not here.
Okay, sounds good. I guess they'll get to see it when they actually go see the show. So, speaking of looking forward to things, I'm sure you are really looking forward to college. What college will you be attending this upcoming fall?
I am planning on going to Marquette University up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
That's interesting. Just like the name, is that why you chose it, or?
That's part of the reason. I won't have to change any of my sweatshirts or anything. But I also just really like the programs and just the feel they have up there.
I see. What will you be majoring in?
I will be majoring in political science with pre-law intentions.
What do you see yourself doing after graduating from college?
After graduating from college, I'm probably going to go to law school with hopes to become a lawyer.
Interesting. So, our audience probably wants to know more about you, but we're only given a limited amount of time. So, would you be up to doing a rapid fire sort of questioning?
Definitely.
Okay, we'll start off with the first question. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Well, I've always wanted to go to somewhere in South Africa. They have all these wildlife parks down there, and I've always been really interested in conservation.
What is your biggest fear and why?
Can it be like a dumb fear?
Sure.
I am just really terrified of spiders, and I have no idea why.
That's pretty common. So, another interesting question. Do you like dogs or cats more?
Oh, definitely dogs.
Who's your biggest role model and why?
I'm really inspired by a lot of powerful women out there. Right now, I'd have to say it's probably Michelle Obama.
Last question to our rapid fire. What's your favorite part or memory about Marquette in Motion?
This interview right now.
Aw, that's great. Well, I think everyone knows Morgan Minster now. Thanks for letting me interview you, Morgan, and thanks to all our listeners. Make sure to keep tuning in. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Brooklyn Moore.
Thanks for reporting, everyone.
Hang on a minute, Amber. It's time to reveal the answers from our pop quiz earlier.
You're right, Morgan. Listeners, time to check your answers. So firstly, how do you spell the word camaraderie?
Camaraderie. And where was the first battle of the Civil War fought?
Fort Sumter, South Carolina. And what's the largest artery of the heart?
It's the aorta, which can be as big around as a garden hose. And who did write Pride and Prejudice?
Pride and Prejudice was written by Jane Austen. And just how many degrees are in a triangle?
There are 180 degrees in every triangle. Lastly, who is the current Speaker of the House, Amber, and what does he do?
Right now, the Speaker of the House is Paul Ryan, and his job is to be in charge of the House of Representatives.
Well, it's time for our listeners to grade their papers, and it's time for us to sign off. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Morgan Minster.
And Amber Krieg.
And remember, stay informed, stay involved, stay
in motion.